two men broke into an abandoned hospital in Brazil. They found a strange, glowing blue powder inside. Within weeks, 4 people were dead. Hundreds more were poisoned. This is the story of history's worst radioactive contamination outside of Chernobyl and Fukushima. In September 1987, 2 scrap metal dealers made a deadly discovery. Wagner Mota Pereira and Roberto dos Santos Alves were looking for valuable metal. They broke into an old cancer clinic in Goiânia, Brazil. The clinic had been abandoned for 2 years. Inside, they found what looked like valuable equipment. One piece caught their attention. It was a large metal cylinder containing Caesium-137. This radioactive material was used for cancer treatment. Think about finding something in your garage that looks valuable. You might take it apart to see what's inside. That's exactly what these men did. They had no idea they were handling one of the most dangerous substances on Earth. The men brought the cylinder home. They spent days trying to break it open. They used hammers and screwdrivers. They even tried cutting it with a saw. Finally, they cracked it open. Inside was a powder that glowed bright blue in the dark. It looked magical, beautiful. The men were amazed by this strange discovery. They thought they had found something special. Wagner took some of the powder home to show his wife. Roberto sold the rest to a local junkyard owner named Dever Alves Ferreira. Neither man knew they were spreading death throughout their community. The powder was Caesium-137 chloride. Just 1 gram of this material is incredibly dangerous. The amount they found could contaminate an entire city. It was like handling invisible fire that burned from the inside out. Within days, both men became violently ill. They suffered from nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. Their skin began to burn and peel, but they didn't connect their sickness to the glowing powder. The contamination was just beginning. The powder would soon spread to dozens of people. It would turn a Brazilian city into a radioactive nightmare. Have you ever found something mysterious and couldn't resist investigating it further? Dever Ferreira thought the glowing powder was the most beautiful thing ever. He invited friends and neighbors to see his amazing discovery. He even gave small amounts away as gifts. This decision turned deadly very quickly. Dever's 6-year-old niece, Leda das Neves Ferreira, visited the junkyard. She was fascinated by the blue glow. Like any curious child, she wanted to touch it. She rubbed the powder on her skin like glitter. She even ate some while playing. Imagine giving your child what you think is harmless, glowing paint. Instead, you're poisoning them with invisible death. That's what happened to little Leda's family. They had no idea they were killing her with kindness. The contamination spread like a deadly game of tag. Everyone who touched the powder became radioactive. They then contaminated everything they touched. Clothes, furniture, food, and other people all became dangerous. Leda's grandmother tried to help when the child became sick. She held her, comforted her, and cared for her. The grandmother absorbed massive amounts of radiation. Within weeks, both the child and grandmother were dying. Dever's wife, Gabriela Maria Ferreira, also handled the powder. She developed radiation sickness immediately. Her hair fell out. Her organs began shutting down. She knew something was wrong. The radioactive material spread to at least 85 locations. It contaminated 249 people. Many didn't even know they had been exposed. They continued their normal lives while radiation poisoned their bodies. Children were especially vulnerable. Their growing bodies absorbed radiation more easily. They suffered worse symptoms and recovered more slowly. Some would battle health problems for the rest of their lives. Meanwhile, the original scrap dealers were getting sicker. Their skin was covered in burns. They were losing weight rapidly. But Brazilian doctors didn't immediately recognize radiation poisoning. The symptoms looked like many other diseases. The contamination kept spreading for nearly 3 weeks. No one realized what was happening until it was almost too late. Can you imagine accidentally poisoning your loved ones while trying to share something beautiful? By early October 1987, people were dying mysterious deaths. Local doctors were completely puzzled. They had never seen anything like these symptoms. The victims had severe burns, hair loss, and organ failure. Dr. Paulo Roberto Monteiro was one of the first to suspect radiation. He noticed that multiple unrelated patients had similar symptoms. All had been exposed to the same glowing substance. He immediately contacted health authorities. Think about going to the doctor with strange symptoms. The doctor has no idea what's wrong with you. Meanwhile, you're getting sicker every day. That's the terrifying reality these victims faced. Once authorities confirmed radiation poisoning, panic spread throughout Goiânia. The government declared a state of emergency. They brought in nuclear experts from around the world. The cleanup operation would become massive and expensive. Emergency teams used Geiger counters to find contaminated areas. They discovered radioactive hotspots throughout the city. Houses, streets, and vehicles all registered dangerous radiation levels. Some areas were 1,000 times more radioactive than safe limits. The government evacuated dozens of families from their homes. Many would never be able to return. Their houses were too contaminated to save. Everything they owned became radioactive waste. Cleanup workers wore full protective suits and breathing equipment. They worked in short shifts to limit radiation exposure. Even with protection, many workers received dangerous doses of radiation. They were heroes risking their lives to save others. The cleanup took 6 months and cost millions of dollars. Workers demolished 7 houses. They removed topsoil from dozens of properties. Contaminated materials filled 3,400 cubic meters of waste containers. 4 people died directly from radiation exposure. Little later, Das Neves Ferreira died first, followed by her grandmother. The 2 scrap dealers who found the Caesium also died. Hundreds more suffered long-term health effects. The Brazilian government paid compensation to victims and their families. However, many survivors still battle cancer and other radiation-related illnesses today. The accident left permanent scars on the community. What would you do if your government told you to abandon your home forever? The Goiânia accident revealed serious problems with radioactive waste management. The Caesium-137 source should never have been left in an abandoned building. This mistake cost lives and could happen again anywhere. After the accident, Brazil created strict new laws about radioactive materials. Medical facilities must now properly dispose of nuclear waste. They cannot simply abandon dangerous materials when they close. Regular inspections ensure compliance with safety rules. Consider how we handle dangerous household chemicals like bleach or pesticides. We keep them away from children and dispose of them safely. Radioactive materials require even more careful handling. Yet this basic safety was ignored. The accident also highlighted the importance of public education. Most victims had never heard of radiation or its dangers. They couldn't protect themselves from something they didn't understand. Knowledge could have saved lives. Today, similar Caesium-137 sources exist in hospitals worldwide. They're used for cancer treatment and medical research. Each one could potentially cause another Goiânia-style disaster if improperly handled. This makes the lesson even more urgent. International nuclear agencies now track radioactive sources more carefully. They provide better training for people who work with these materials. However, experts worry that terrorism could weaponize abandoned radioactive sources. The Goiânia victims became symbols of innocent people harmed by nuclear technology. Their suffering reminds us that radioactive materials demand absolute respect. There's no room for carelessness or shortcuts when dealing with radiation. Many Goiânia survivors still live with the consequences today. They face higher cancer rates and ongoing health problems. Some struggle with depression and anxiety about their exposure. The accident changed their lives permanently. The glowing blue powder that seemed so beautiful became a symbol of hidden danger. It teaches us that some things are too dangerous to touch, no matter how fascinating they appear. Scientists continue studying the Goiânia accident's long-term effects. Their research helps improve radiation safety worldwide. The victims' suffering contributes to knowledge that protects future generations. Why do you think some of history's most important disasters get forgotten over time? The Goiânia accident shows how quickly radioactive contamination can spread through a community. Two curious scrap dealers unleashed a deadly poison that killed 4 people and sickened hundreds more. Poor waste management, lack of public education, and human curiosity created a perfect storm of tragedy. This forgotten disaster reminds us that nuclear technology demands absolute respect and proper safety measures at all times. What other forgotten disasters do you think deserve more attention? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more history content.